back here on the Hunter Call of the Wild, and today we're going to be going over the patch notes so that you know exactly what is coming with this update that actually came out today. It is already out, came out a day early. But before we head into it, let me know in the comments what you are most excited for with this update, and we are going to dive right into it. Okay, so it reads Alberta Hunting Preserve. On June the 17th, Askiy Ridge Hunting Preserve will open its doors to hunters. Snowy and frigid landscape, 19 animal species including the North American beaver and Manitoban elk, 13 unique missions, and more await the brave in Alberta, Canada. Paid content highlights. 19 animals to hunt, including the white-tailed deer, black bear, moose, Canada goose, mallard, mule deer, gray wolf, bighorn sheep, mountain goat, pronghorn, ringneck pheasant, dusky grouse. These are new species going forward. Dusky grouse, North American beaver, wood bison, Manitoban elk, woodland caribou, northern pin-tailed duck, wood duck, and snow geese. New collars for the northern pintail, snow goose, and wood duck. New lever-action rifle, the LaPerriere Outrider 3030. A new reserve quest line. New feature, deep snow. The snow in Askiy Ridge is deep and compacts as players and animals move through it. Note that this graphical feature is optionally available on PC. Settings, visual, snow deformation. So when you go into the game, guys, you need to go and turn that on, and is enabled by default for players on Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 consoles. This feature is not available on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Don't forget to wishlist on Steam and pre-order on Xbox to not miss the release. Snowfall update. Check out a plethora of improvements and fixes in the free Snowfall update, releasing alongside Alberta Hunting Preserve for all players. New content and improvements. New great one. And look at that image. Oh my gosh. It is beautiful. I am so excited. The Great One mule deer is available to hunt. Mule deer populations in Parque Fernando, Rancho Del Arroyo, and Silver Ridge Peaks got reset. Snowy animals. In snowy climates, snow will now accumulate on animals. So cool. New multi-mounts. 2 new multi-mounts have been added, one for the new North American beaver and another for mule deer. New outfit. Buffalo plaid Unity outfit themed after the snowy wilds of Alberta is available for purchase. New world map. The world map has been completely redesigned to accommodate more locations in the future. Yay! I like how that sounds. DLC library bar in beta. Some players will see a new bar on the main menu, which displays currently owned and available DLC packs. This bar is currently in testing and will only be available to a limited group of players. Animal improvements. Bighorn sheep. Their models have been redone. New fur variations were added, and all existing fur variations were redone. That's very, very encouraging, because we saw an image of what we think is a melanistic bighorn in one of the trailers, and that gives me hope that I wasn't mistaken, that it is actually a melanistic. There are new furs, so that is amazing. The old models will still be present on trophies acquired before this patch. New audio for calls was added. Pronghorn. Their models have been redone. New fur variations were added, and all existing fur variations were redone. Yay! All Truax horns have been replaced with new, more realistic models. Scoring ranges have been revised based on the new models. The old models will still be present on trophies acquired before this patch. Some new animations were added. Mountain goat. Their models have been redone. Existing fur variations have been redone. Certain animations have been redone to match the new models, and new audio for calls has been added. Very sweet. Canada goose. Their models have been redone. New plumage was added, and all existing plumage variations were redone. The rarities of certain existing plumages have been rebalanced. Interesting. Added some animation improvements. Then we have gray wolves. Their models have been redone. New fur variations were added, and all existing fur variations were redone. Added new and improved calls, extensive fixes and improvements to wolf animations and behaviors. Very sweet. Grant caribou renamed to differentiate from the new woodland caribou. So the Grant caribou are the caribou that you will find in Yukon Valley. Their models have been redone and they look amazing. We've recreated all previously existing fur variations and added some animation improvements. Mule deer. Their models have been redone. New fur variations were added and all existing fur variations were redone. Tibetan fox. Models and animations were adjusted to use the same skeleton as other foxes. Okay. Reindeer renamed to mountain reindeer for more clarity. I did not know that. Sweet. Tutorials. We've made multiple improvements to our existing tutorial pop-ups, including enhanced their look and feel. We've made it easier to dismiss tutorials, added the ability to change the keybind for dismissing tutorials. Under equipment, 30-30 ammunition has been returned to improve muzzle velocity and reduce wind resistance. The existing elk collar will now also work for the new Manitoban elk. Under bug fixes, animals, an issue where the front legs of various deer species would move awkwardly when executing various animations was fixed. We've addressed an animation issue when the mule deer are grooming themselves. The Himalayan tahr on Teawaroa and black-tailed deer on Leighton Lake will now correctly make audible calls. We've fixed an issue with the Tibetan fox warning calls. An issue with the idle animation on various deer got fixed. The tibae of various ground birds will now be labeled correctly. We fixed several visual issues with black bear paws. We've addressed several issues and added some significant improvements to black bear animations. Animals will no longer rotate unnaturally when they stop moving. An issue where the antlers of various deer species could be slightly out of sync when the animal was in motion was fixed. We've adjusted the alignment of moose spines. Neck bone issues on mallards got resolved. We fixed an issue with animal ragdolls that could make animals move awkwardly and being shot while idle. Black bears will now perform their mating calls as expected. We've made improvements to animal pathing around water to reduce rare cases of animals running through the water. Sweet. An issue that could cause high-flying geese to behave erratically was addressed. We fixed a problem with the claws on Iberian wolves. We've improved the transition and flow of white-tailed deer jumping animations. Animals will no longer rapidly gain speed after changing running direction. We've addressed an issue with animation that could happen with aggravated capercaillies. Various issues with grouse animations were fixed. We've adjusted the level of shininess on black buck's fur. Shininess. Shininess. I got it. Okay. Moving on. Audio. We've optimized some insect noises on Virhonga Savanna to improve performance. We've fixed an issue where the sound for building a hunting structure didn't trigger properly on several reserves. Customization. Removing a scope from a customized rifle using the storage cache will now correctly keep its custom look until you attach another scope. Dogs. We fixed a number of locations in Revontuli Coast where dogs couldn't find good spots to wait outside for the player. We've addressed several issues with dog behavior around various locations in New England Mountains and Emerald Coast. Moving on to equipment. 45 Colt flat nose hardcast and 45 Colt full metal jacket ammo is no longer marked as rifle ammo for the Magnifico 410/45 handgun. We fixed an issue that forced lever action rifles to fully reload if the rechamber animation was interrupted by looking at an invalid target. An issue with the alignment of the model on the Zarza 15 223 and Zarza 10 308 rifles was addressed. We've improved the animations for the bolt traveling when firing the Solican MN 1890 rifles. We fixed visual issues with the Grelic drilling rifle that only appeared when seen on other players. Corrected M1 animation issues while moving and hip firing. Addressed an issue causing rain sounds inside tents during snow. Visual issues that occurred when reloading the Hudzik rifles were fixed. We've addressed an issue where it was possible to start aiming with the Strandberg 10 SA before it had finished the reload animation. Strecker SXS 20 gauge is now more accurate with slugs and the reflex sight. Addressed several animation errors on weapons that use the 308 ammunition. We fixed minor accuracy issues with several weapons: Solican, Zagan, 7mm Magnum, Kuso, Coleman, Zarza 10, and the Martinson 6.5mm. Gameplay. The tracking distance displayed on the harvest screen will no longer be incorrect. Rapid follow-up shots now consistently hit animals reacting to a previous shot. Sweet. Wolves will no longer occasionally get into ground blinds to attack the player. We fixed an issue where players weren't able to load into a reserve at the tent closest to their last position. That's awesome. Very happy about that. Under graphics, improve the quality of some shadows, particularly on smaller objects. Under multiplayer, we fixed an issue where another player's ATV would float around if they fast traveled away while riding it. We've corrected a bug that occurred when a server host tried to harvest an animal that another player was already harvesting, causing multiple issues for both parties. We fixed an issue where the clay shooter in Salspeisen Park could stop working if players tried to activate it at the same time. A crash that could happen if the player disconnects while setting up a new multiplayer game was fixed. We've made the error message that occurs when disconnecting while trying to join a multiplayer session on Xbox more clear. We fixed a rare issue where players might see an unclear error message if they were disconnected from the internet while trying to join a multiplayer game on Xbox. Under stability, we've optimized several texture assets to improve performance. We fixed an issue that could occasionally cause the game to crash during gameplay on Xbox. Under system, addressed an issue where respawning at an outpost after being knocked out could cause the camera to clip through the terrain. Keybind changes will now be saved correctly after the first time if the player tried to change keybinds multiple times during the same session. An issue where the game could soft lock after attempting to load backup save data on PlayStation was solved. We fixed an issue that could cause the game to crash if players switch profiles while loading the game on Xbox. We've addressed a crash that could occasionally happen when disconnecting a controller on Xbox. We fixed a small memory leak that could occur when checking for input devices on Xbox, an issue that could cause the game to freeze if the user switched profiles while the game was suspended on Xbox was fixed. Signing out of an Xbox profile in a trophy lodge no longer causes a crash. Under trophies, the Ganthair rifle will now fit properly on the trophy stands in Saseka Safari Trophy Lodge. We fixed an issue with the David vs. Goliath multi-mount. Under UI, we fixed an issue where multiple game invites from the same person would persist in the Apex UI. We've adjusted the outfit preview pictures to remove white outlines. Rangemaster 338 Championship Rifle will now display correct statistics. The tooltip for green wing teal decoys on the world map is now correct. We've optimized HUD rendering to improve performance. Underworld, we fixed an issue with some water in the Tichenau region of Hirschfelden. We've cut down some errant grass growing in an odd place near the Brindleton Pit Stop outpost on Emerald Coast. Animals in Emerald Coast and Sundar Patan now drink closer to the visible water again. Sweet. We fixed some object clipping issues in various locations around Emerald Coast. Various collision and item placement issues around Sundar Patan were fixed. We fixed a visual issue with the stairs outside of the Pawa outpost on Sundar Patan. Players can no longer get stuck in the haystacks outside the Sheetal Gone outpost on Sundar Patan. Water layout blind placement should work properly again in Revontuli Coast. We've grounded a floating tree outside Rats Notch Hut in New England Mountains. We fixed some collision issues with several lookout towers on Teawaroa. And last but not least, we've addressed some collision issues in various locations around Silver Ridge Peaks. So that is the patch notes. That is what is coming with today's update. Let me know in the comments what you were most excited for with the release of Askiy Ridge. And if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and splat that like button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to recommend that you click right here for my very first hunt in Askiy Ridge.